Hey everyone, I have a few videos for you guys this evening. This first one is going to be a library haul. Sorry, I was reaching for things, but the last book I actually bought, but I'm very excited about it, and I only bought it because my library didn't have it, and I was very upset that they didn't have it. And it was pretty cheap on Abe Books, so anyway, I'll save that for last because it's my favorite. And yes, I should say I went into the library with only 6 things on hold, and I was very happy about that. And then I came out of the library with more things, but it was only 3 more things, and 2 of them were just audiobooks to go with physical books that I was already planning on reading this month. So, I figure that's pretty okay. So anyway, the first thing that I got was All Creatures Great and Small by James Herriot, both the audiobook and the physical copy. And I got this because Kate over at Kate Howe is putting on a James Herriot All Creatures Great and Small readathon for the whole summer. It's the first 3 books in the series, All Creatures Great and Small, All Things Bright and Beautiful, and All Things Wise and Wonderful. I think it's Bright and Beautiful, not Bold and Beautiful. I think Bold and Beautiful is the name of the soap opera. So yeah, I think it is Bright and Beautiful. But anyway, we're reading one of these a month. This one is this month. Next one is July. Next one is August. And it's just the first 3 of, I think, a 6-book series, but I'm still very excited. And how I originally heard about this book series is I checked out the... Okay, well, I should explain for a minute. This book series was turned into a TV show in the 70s. And then I actually stumbled upon a prequel series, like a prequel TV show that was actually done... Even though the original show was the 70s, the prequel was done like only maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it had several people in it that I really like. One is Amy Manson, who is now, I think it's Manson, not Mason. It may be Mason, but I think it's Manson, who is now playing Merida in Once Upon a Time, and I had seen her before in Being Human as well as Desperate Romantics, both of which also starred Aidan Turner. And they actually dated somewhere in there because of working together so much. Well, not because of that, but, like, working together so much, like, caused them to want to date. I don't know. Anyway. So, yeah. So anyway, I saw that, really liked it. Didn't actually know that James Herriot was a real person. And, okay, here's where it gets kind of weird. The real James Herriot isn't actually called James Herriot. His real name, I'm blanking on it right now, so I will put his real name and his dates in the description. But anyway, so he was a Scottish vet who he grew up in Scotland and went to vet school in Scotland and then moved, I believe, I want to say to the north of England to practice medicine or to be a practicing vet, but I don't know if it was northern England or London or what. Anyway, England. And one day he decided that, or I guess like, I don't know, at a certain time he decided he wanted to write a book. And so he did, but at the time he wrote this, he thought that as a well-respected vet he should not put his real name on a novel, I guess. So he changed the main character's name to James Herriot. He had the pseudonym James Herriot, and I'm assuming he changed some other names of some real people in these stories. And I think most of these stories actually really did happen, and he may have fictionalized some of them or embellished or something like that. So basically, this is what I would like to call a fictionalized autobiographical series. Sorry, that was like a mouthful, but yeah, so I know that was a long explanation, but it's kind of strange. And it says, The Warm and Joyful Memoirs of an Animal Doctor. So yes, I will put the guy's real name and his dates down below. And honestly, I don't know. I think these are all considered fiction, and they're just like fictionalized biography, but I don't know, this might be in the biography section. I don't know. But anyway, I'm very excited to read this after really loving the show. And I'm also going to try to watch the first season once we read All Creatures Great and Small. Oh, and another fun fact, the guy who narrates the audiobook is Christopher Timothy, I think is his name, and he is the same actor who played James Herriot in the 70s TV show. So that's kind of exciting. And then the next thing I got was BFG, Big Friendly Giant by Roald Dahl, because the film is coming out on the 1st of July, and this was one of the Roald Dahl books that I never got around to reading when I was a child. It's kind of strange. We had so many Roald Dahl books when I was little, and the only two that I actually read, or at least remember reading in detail, were Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. And to be honest, I may have accidentally skipped Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and gone straight into reading Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. I don't really know. But we owned things like The Twits and Witches and stuff like that, but I never... Oh, and James and the Giant Peach. But I never got around to reading those. So several of those I actually didn't read until a couple summers ago when I read... I know I read Matilda and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and The Pelly, the Giraffe, and Me, and did I say James and the Giant Peach? So yeah, I just read a lot of those a while ago, but I'm very excited about this one, and I might wait until the audiobook gets into my library because I have it on hold right now, but someone else has it checked out, so I might wait till then to try and read this. And I'm very excited about the film. And then, going on my Vampire Academy kick here, I have read Vampire Academy and Frostbite, both on my phone, because I was originally going to read, I originally had the physical copy of Vampire Academy on hold at my library, and then I got so impatient that I just checked out a omnibus of all 6 books in the Vampire Academy series on my phone, and I completely sped through the first book, and I really liked it. And then I found out that unfortunately for the second book, Frostbite, the only copy that they had was one of these ebook copies from Overdrive, which I think is kind of crazy. Like, it's weird that you would only have an ebook edition of a book in a library rather than like a real physical copy. But I didn't really mind because I knew how fast I got through Vampire Academy. And with Frostbite, I started it at like 10 o'clock at night a couple nights ago, read until like 4:30 in the morning because I couldn't put it down, and then finished like the last 6 chapters the next day. And I really liked it. And thank goodness, that's when they had the physical copies of the books in, for all the books after that. So, I have Shadowkissed here, and I really like these covers. I think they're very cool. I like them better than the originals. This is what the original, covers look like. This is the 4th one, Blood Promise. And then this is what they look like on the back. I didn't so much mind the first one or the second one, but then they just get kind of weird looking and cheesy. I don't know. So I really liked it when they switched to these because I really like the colors, and they still have like faded ones that are the same, like sort of the same picture. Like if you can see on the back here, they still have the same girl's face in Vampire Academy. But it's just like super faded with a giant lettering on the front. So I like that so much better. And yeah, so this one is what I'll be reading next. I'm not taking this on my trip with me, most likely just because taking library books on trips, especially a trip like this where I'm going to be outside for quite a bit of time, really freaks me out because I just got finished replacing a library book because I had spilled soup on the one that I checked out. So, you know, totally an accident and it could happen to anyone, but I figure don't put the book in a situation where it could get damaged. So yeah, these two, and I will be reading these very soon. They're kind of on hold in favor of a couple other books that are more time sensitive right now, but very excited to get to those later. And then, what else? I showed you guys BFG. Now I got Anne of the Island on audio because the book is on Overdrive. It's also the physical copy is available, but I would have had to put it on hold, and I really didn't want to do that. So I just got this out of the library because it was at the branch closest to me, and then I will get the ebook from Overdrive as soon as I finish reading Anne of Avonlea, which the audiobook of that is on Overdrive. And then last two, I got The Giver by Lois Lowry on audio since I was already planning on reading the physical copy sometime this month. So very excited about this, and I think this is only, how long? 4 hours, it's less than 5 hours, so it's like 4 hours and 45 minutes, so this will be a nice quick one. And then, last but not least, I got Paper Towns by John Green. This was a spur-of-the-moment pickup, because I saw it, and that made me realize, or it made me remember that the film right now is on HBO Go, which I have free access to, and usually they stay for like a month, but I'm not really sure how long it's going to be on the site, and I really want to see it while it is free. And I'm pretty sure at the library I would have to put put it on hold or something, so I figured this was the easier way to do it. So I'm going to attempt listening to this while following along in my physical copy sometime this month. And this one, I think, isn't that long either. It's something like 7 hours or something like that. So this should be pretty quick, and that way I can see the film while it's on that website. Okay, so those are all my library things. And then the last thing that I am most excited for is Dabrowski by Alexander Pushkin. It says forward is by Patrick Neate. And what drew my attention to this book is there was a movie in 2014 that was like a modern day version of this, that's a Russian film. And story time. After I watched Vampire Academy, I was just completely smitten by Danila Kozlovsky, who plays Dmitry Belikov. I think he is wonderful. Like, he is gorgeous, and he's a good actor, and his voice is just wonderful. So I looked up the rest of his IMDb list, and unfortunately the only two English things that he's in that I know of are Vampire Academy, and then he was in a Chanel Mademoiselle commercial with Keira Knightley like a year or two ago, but those are the only two English things that I could find. And very sadly, he is in the film of this, and he plays the modern day Dabrowski, but I can only find the original Russian. I cannot find, I know they don't have one where it's dubbed, but I was hoping to at least find a copy of it somewhere online or something where it has English subs with it, because I do not understand any Russian, at all. I would love to, that'd be great, but for now I need the English subtitles, and I can't find them. So, if any of you have heard about this movie or seen it, or know how I can try to find it, I would really, really appreciate advice and help. But anyway, for now, I figured I would read the original story so that if I end up having to watch it in its original Russian without English subtitles, then even though I have no idea what's being said, I at least know the background of the story and generally what's going on. And also, it's always interesting to read the original source material of a film that has been updated updated for the modern audience. I meshed my words there, but anyway, you know what I mean. And I also love this edition. This is the Hesperus edition, and this is the second one I have. I have this one and then Moorland Cottage by Elizabeth Gaskell, and I really think that for the other stories in this collection that I like, I'm going to end up collecting them in these editions because they're so pretty. This one is sort of faded, but it's just got, like, it's a faded picture of a horse on a farm, because that's a prominent aspect of the story, because this is about a young man who is trying to get revenge because his father was basically driven to death from grief, I think, because one of their neighbors just got really jealous of everything they had and decided to like somehow take over their estate. I don't really know how it's accomplished, but after his father's death and the loss of his family home, Dabrowski, the young Dabrowski, decides to seek revenge. So it'll be really interesting to read this. So yeah, very excited about this, and this edition is super pretty. But yes, if anybody knows how I can get my hands on that film where it will have English subtitles, I would greatly appreciate that. And let me know what you guys think of anything else that I've showed you in this haul, and I'm very sorry it's been very long. I'm kind of tired, and when I'm tired I ramble. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.